So welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're taking a look at Pancake swap with some rather interesting updates here that caught my attention. And so we're going to have a little look at those. It includes some of the updates regarding vCAKE, which is essentially like vote escrowed cake. You lock it up for a predefined amount of time, thus disturbing the circulating supply of tokens on the market. And for that, you get rewards boosties. So kind of interesting stuff. They've also released their roadmap for Q3. We're going to go through that. Essentially, we're looking at this in terms of, will it be worth maybe making an entrance back into this? I used to hold quite a bit of Pancake swap back in the day. Got involved on the hype train just before it went parabolic, which was rather nice. Now, we sat here with a price of around $4. You can see from the chart over the last 3 months, there's a bit of a rounded bottom here, but depending on whether the crypto market takes another leg lower, this will of course be wiped out if so. And I'm not too confident in calling a bottom of the crypto bear at this point, but you can see roughly anytime we were below around $3, it was bought up fairly quickly. There's only a few hours there that it was below around $2.80 there, with a blow off bottom of around $2.50. So if you manage to buy around $2.50 to $3, congratulations, you'll be sat on some nice profits at this moment in time. You can see resistance was hit here at around $4 and is tapering off. Now let's jump into some of the points of interest here. First and foremost, Binance Labs made a strategic investment in Pancake swap, and this included them buying up a buttload of cake tokens. And what's interesting about that, Binance Labs doesn't really need to sell those tokens. So any of the cake that they've bought, they're not going to be selling them. Maybe they'll use them for some form of promotions in the future, but you know they're not going to be dumping those on the market. We couldn't find out exactly how many tokens they've bought. I did have a bit of a research, but this is undisclosed. Now, what we have down here is daily active users over on PancakeSwap of 400,000. So clearly Binance Labs, and the BNB chain, as it's been rebranded, are bullish on PancakeSwap as it's their biggest dApp. And essentially, this is one of the biggest, super apps in the whole of crypto, as OXTuber points out here. They're the closest thing we do have to that super app, with spot trading, perps, NFT marketplace, launchpads, and lotteries. And some of these things now live. So perpetual futures we'll look at in just a second. Really interesting stuff. You can actually go up to 200x leverage long. So the casino is well and truly open on PancakeSwap. No KYC required. Just log in with your MetaMask. 2.6 million users, 38 million trades have taken place, billions of dollars of value locked, and now they have things like lottery. So it really is, something that people can get addicted to on here, which is rather interesting. You want your apps to be sticky, and they are making them sticky here on PancakeSwap. So they got the user base. Now it's time to try and, keep the burn ratio up and ensure that inflation doesn't run too far wild, because as we know, in a bear market, there's not more money entering the market. Money, if anything, is leaving the market. And so if you have a finite pool of capital in the market and the tokens are emitting, you know what happens. The price is going to go down. So this is where they have recently introduced the vCAKE tokenomics. So this is like curve with VE curve, similar, but a bit of a slightly different twist here. VE curve, you have to lock up to maximum of 4 years, but with vCAKE here, it's up to a 52-week max lock for the ultimate boost rewards. So what are they doing this for? Well, I believe it is to stop the down-only price action, and it seems to have, at least temporarily paused in that. And also, I think what they're trying to do here is drive more value to loyal token holders, which makes a lot of sense. If you're bullish on cake in these market conditions and you do want to lock up for a 52-week period, you now have the option to do so. And as we know, the cake syrup pools lost a lot of their luster when the APYs went sub, say, 100% APY. So during the peak of the bear market, they were like 100, maybe up to 200%, I can't remember. Definitely over 100% for a long while. And as the APY started to go down, people started to leave the ecosystem and look for yield farming opportunities elsewhere. But now with vCAKE, with these boosties, you can actually get currently up to around 80% APY. So they've moved from a flexible pool style where you just deposit your coins, they auto compound, and now they're moving to, well, you can still do the flexible, but you now have the option to stake for up to 52 weeks. With this fixed term staking, you then get the additional booster. So on the flexible side, the APY is around 3%, and you can do the max boosty 52 weeks and get roughly 80%. So you can imagine a lot of people are getting involved with that. So as they mentioned down here, it's not a new token. It's just a vote power based, showing how much power you've got, vote power you've got based on the duration that you've locked in for. So they've also got vCAKE, which is to do with the IFOs, the initial flip offerings, the launchpad allocations. As you can see, they're doing quite a few things with tokenomics to ensure people are locking in and not spending the cake, and thus trying to help keep price up here. So if we just look at this quick example, it's pretty simple to get your head around here. If you lock your tokens, so say you've got 100 cake, for 52 weeks, you will get your number of tokens multiplied by the number of weeks. And this gives you your new vCAKE power. So 100 multiplied by 52 weeks will give you 5,200 in vCAKE. So just think of it as like a power level. But interestingly enough, if you lock in for 52 weeks, but 10 weeks, say, have elapsed, that means you've now got, say, a 42-week voting power. And so you would take your 100 multiplied by 42, and you've now got 4,200. So the incentive here is to continually lock more and more cake tokens for the max to keep your boosty at the highest level. So you're essentially saying, look guys, just keep locking to get the maximum rewards. So people will presumably want to lock at least a proportion of their rewards back in for the 52 weeks to keep their boosty at that maximum level. So I think that is rather interesting stuff. Gamification behind that makes a lot of sense in my opinion. So let's just have a look what it looks like in action. So over on the syrup pools, I do not have any funds in this account here. It's just a little play around as I am away at the moment. But if we just look at this, so you come to the stake cake area. So this is on the syrup pools. This is only live on the staking farms, these pools, and not the actual farming farms, the LP positions. That is coming though in the future, which is quite interesting. So if we just go over to here, and you can see you can either now enter in a staking position on a flexible or a locked term. So flexible, this means you could withdraw at any time. There is a penalty for withdrawing within the first 72 hours, however, and you're just going to get 3%. So is there any point actually locking up your crypto to get 3%? Probably not. You're probably better off maybe trading with some basic strategies. However, if you lock it up here for the locked duration, the maximum boosty will take us up to 52 weeks. So if we just put in $1,000, for example, 52 weeks, 81%, you get a return of around $800, obviously in cake tokens. So you put in 258 cake, the emissions are scheduled at the moment to be around 210 cake coming back to you, and this would be on a block by block basis. And these tokens would just appear in your flexible account. So they would show in here. There's no reason, no need for you to claim and restake or anything like that. It would just continue to compound in here like normal. So you can see that the incentives here are aligned with long-term staking. Of course, if you want to do shorter, the APY is less, so around 1% for 5 weeks, 3% for 10 weeks, 19 almost 20% for 25 weeks, but the maximum is 81% APY for that year-long boost. Interestingly enough, the average lock duration, and we've got over 200 million cake currently staked here, or 172 million cake staked in this particular pool, the average lock duration is 38 weeks. I think that is around the human gestation period. So 38 weeks, people are obviously doing this. That means a lot of people have probably gone max here, 52 weeks, hit the max button, and are saying, look, let's just compound these big rewards. 80% is lucrative enough for me to do so. And I believe this will have a good amount of supply disruption, meaning a lot of these tokens are just not going to be circulating anymore. So as PancakeSwap can roll out more features and try and onboard more users, maybe with the help of Binance, and interestingly enough, Binance with Binance Mini app, you might have seen this on their website. They're trying to implement some of these DeFi kind of primitives that PancakeSwap have with Binance, or at least leaving links on the Binance website to get you over to PancakeSwap. So I think a lot is going to be done in the background there to try and filter people from Binance to PancakeSwap, which is very, very interesting. And as they can do this, if they can increase these numbers, get more people locked in for these long durations, it should have a very positive impact on PancakeSwap's Cake token. So say we do see some bullish price action, you will see this obviously being very helpful for the Cake token price. But we'll go into more detail in just a second on Cake emissions, but that's essentially what vCAKE is. You lock it in, you vote escrow your tokens up to 52 weeks, get a nice boosty, and you can get 81% APY on the Cake token. So as a bear market strategy, you could just keep auto compounding all of this, taking the rewards, putting them in 52 weeks, just boosting, and seeing how many tokens you end up with. And then obviously at some given date, you'll have to start letting that run down and start taking the rewards out, selling them for cash or whatever you want to do with them. But some interesting strategies can be built around this. And I think this is rather cool that they've implemented essentially some form of Curves tokenomics. Now, jumping over to the tokenomics section on their website. So the current emissions are 40 cake per block. So the emissions per day, 1.152 million cake tokens. That's a lot of tokens coming into circulation. That is why we have a bit of a down-only Doomer chart during a bear market. No surprise there. We haven't got new users coming in really. And so, yeah, we're going to get down only. So we just go back to that. 1.152 million cake token being emitted each and every day. Now, I'd like to say I could put my finger exactly on the pulse as to how many tokens are coming from these various methods, because look, there's stuff here like all the cake that is minted to a dev address, which is 9% of any harvested rewards, are just added for the weekly burn, and this never enters circulation. This is kind of, not too transparent as to where these tokens are ending up. I'd like to have a clear breakdown of exactly how many of these tokens enter supply each week. And so from there, I can work out exactly how many of the burned tokens each week are actually made up from this dev address. But we can just work out some basics based on the information we can garner easily from this. There are other deflationary mechanics. So pretty much any of the utilities you can utilize on PancakeSwap, whether that be something like NFT sales, performance fees from the IFOs, all of these different things you can see from the chart here. There's various amounts of cake that is being burned from utilizing those fees. So what we have here is the actual burn address, and we can see over the last 8 weeks, roughly 6.7 to 6.8 or 6.9 million cake have been burned each and every week. Now, 1.152 million emissions per day multiplied by 7 gives us 8,064,000 tokens. So you can see a discrepancy. That means there's at least an inflation of around 1.3 million tokens per week. So the question really is, can this market withstand 1.3 million tokens net addition each and every week on average? And at the moment, it looks like the answer is no, but we've just had the vCAKE tokenomics implemented. So whether this has enough of a disruption to really affect things, we will only know in hindsight. But this is why I'm interested in tracking this, keeping up to date to see exactly how that pans out. Because if this does start to tick up, maybe nicely bullish for the Cake token price, we know the vCAKE tokenomics have had a nice implementation here. Now, on top of this, there's some other cool features. So if we just go back to this one and we look at the deflationary mechanics over here, 20% of all profits from perp trading. So this is, I'm not sure exactly when this went live, but from the last time I was on here, perps weren't live. Now they have a shed load of perps available. You can trade all of these various coins on a lot of leverage. So I can imagine this could generate a lot of profit for them, as essentially people leverage trading are going to lose their money, and people get addicted to this stuff. Hence, PancakeSwap is an unbelievable casino, and of course, the dealer usually wins at the casino. So you can actually trade the BTC USDT market here on 200x leverage. And you could put down 10K. So you could see this could be a real money spinner in terms of people coming on here, degenerately gambling 20% of those profits going back to being burning cake tokens. It could be something that actually ticks up the amount of cake token burns each and every week. So I'll be watching for these numbers to start surpassing 7 million burned and see if we can get towards that, 8 million in emissions at a minimum, to see if we can get this kind of net neutral and not as inflationary as it has been. So some of the new features, so we've got the Tokenomics, where you can lock in the cake token for a longer duration. Then we have this, the perps, which, highly addictive, especially when you get a winner. But what do all gamblers do once they win? They're back at the casino again, playing it again, hoping to get an even bigger win. And then what they've also added is the lottery is now live. So win, lottery, this is live. There's some pretty good prizes on here. But of course, if you have any issues with gambling, please do not touch any of these things. They are going to sucker a lot of people into losing their money here. You can buy your tickets. I think it's $5 entry. Even if you just match the first one, so you have to actually match them in order in the sequence that they come out, which is a bit annoying. But if you match the first one, for example, you get 549 cakes. So a $5 entry can get you a $2,000 return pretty quickly. You can see they're adding a lot of stuff, which is making this more of a gambling website more than anything. So I'm kind of bullish on that, in the fact that a lot of people do get hooked on gambling, and this could be a very good business model. And if we can start to see this become a bit more net deflationary, this will be very good. Also on top of this, they just inserted a maximum supply on cake. Previously, it could just emit forever. Now it's 750 mil. We're still 3 years out, as they state down here, from this top of the supply being hit. So as they say here, and remember, this is a direct fork of Uniswap. This is longer than the current runway of other major dexes, such as Uniswap, SushiSwap, and Trader Joe. So essentially what they're saying here is they're going to wait for these other players in the DEX space to see exactly what they do to iterate upon their tokenomics once they hit their max supplies. And then, of course, PancakeSwap can copy pasta the best solution. So I think that's pretty smart. They're already a copy pasta. Why not copy pasta everything? Makes a lot of sense. They're building out loads of utility. It's rather interesting indeed. So that is one of the highlights in here as well. We touched on vCAKE, iCake a little bit, and they've also got bCAKE coming in the future, which will be boosted farm benefits. So on the Q3 roadmap, fixed term staking benefits for the yield boosters. This is going to be, as we've seen, the syrup pools, and that is going to be coming to the farms as well, so the LP positions. This is not yet live. There's going to be upgrades to lottery. Lottery has started now, though. They're also exploring the opportunities to take Cake multi-chain somehow. I have no idea what they could be planning with that in Q3, but also they're going to be implementing a stablecoin swap as well, which would be good, as I'm sure some people don't want to hold BUSD, which is the native stablecoin on here. And there's various like debit cards and stuff you can get with Binance directly. So having a stablecoin swapping protocol, I think is going to be very good. So that is the Q3 roadmap highlights there. Some of the things they did chalk up as well. Cake prediction markets are live. There's not a whole lot on there. I wouldn't say that it's really interesting to me in terms of, do I think Cake's going to go up or down? You would just use the perps, but each to their own. And the Binance mini program, so more and more features are being added to that. So I think this is part of the overall Binance strategic investment. They're going to start porting over some of PancakeSwap's core features over onto Binance and try to get people in that way. So I think that the future is bright for PancakeSwap, having just survived hopefully the worst of the bear market, the big, leverage washouts, etc. You can see that Binance is here to stay. They are well funded, and now they're helping fund PancakeSwap as well. So PancakeSwap is also here to stay. So it's not like you're buying potentially a token in Cake that is going to go to zero. They are clearly here making moves and hoping to, ensure Cake number starts to go up only once again. This peaked out around 40 odd bucks in the last cycle. The question is, can it hit that again or even surpass it? If this goes down to say $2, then you're looking at in the region of a 20x for it to reach the previous all-time high. with the new features they're bringing out, etc. I don't think that is too pie in the sky. In a 20x, potentially, whilst you can get, say, up to 80% APY if you locked in, etc., it makes for a decent risk to reward, in my opinion. So this is just one that's on the radar, something I'm interested in. If you've got anything to add, drop me a question down below or comment. Let me know exactly what your thoughts are on Pancake Swap and the Cake token going into the back end of this year, going into the bear market. What are your thoughts? Will you accumulate this one? That's all for today. If you're new and you're subscribed, drop me a comment down below. Introduce yourself, say hello, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.